Let's get ready to rumble!
One of the reasons, I won't say the sole reason, but one of the reasons Chavez Jr. and Canelo was touted as a big fight was basically because of some carryover from a inner war of tribalism. When Oscar beat the legend, Chavez Sr., he was pelted by eggs. He was in a convertible and it was just being pelted by eggs. He said the fight divided our cultures. It literally did. We were divided. I remember my family being divided, said Oscar. But the beautiful thing is now, those people that booed me, they now have kids that are born in the US who understand what I went through. He said he's proud that he stuck to his guns, stuck to his roots, and always believed, born in the US and I'm very proud of it. But I have my Mexican roots. I always stuck with that. That's why this fight was so big. That's why the fight was so important. This basically was just a repeat of that, where Mexicans in America, they still feel a bit displaced with the Trump shit, building the wall and making them pay for it, and perhaps feeling like they've been treated like second-class citizens and all the stereotypes. Gangs, drug dealing, murders, cheap labor, etc., etc. They still feel a bit displaced, that they're not getting the respect they deserve. So there was still a demographic, carry a bit of a grudge or a chip on your shoulder as they call it. And they see Oscar De La Hoya representing the establishment, the Mexican face representing the establishment, not really down with the struggle. And I think Canelo, in association with De La Hoya, may have lost support against Chavez Jr. amongst the grassroots Mexican fan base. And from what I was hearing, could be wrong, is Junior had a sizable portion of the Mexican support base. I'm not saying it was the majority, I'm not sure, I haven't got the facts, but why would they be supporting Junior perhaps nearly as equally as Canelo, when Canelo is far the superior fighter, more accomplished, with the better prospects of becoming a legend in Mexican boxing? Perhaps a little internal conflict there. Back in the 90s against Chavez Sr., the legend, De La Hoya tried to straddle both sides of the fence by wearing stars and stripes on one side of his attire and the other half the Mexican flag. But he was too suburban by then, to hang in the barrio. I believe they more wanted to defeat Oscar De La Hoya than Canelo, those who supported Chavez Jr. That's what I believe. Unless they were genuine Chavez Jr. supporters. Apparently a lot of credible sources are saying it's done 1.5 pay-per-view buys. And I was wondering why it's done so well. What, just because a Mexican's fighting another Mexican? Or is it the type of Mexican associated with the fight with Oscar and Chavez Sr.'s son? And the Chicano versus Mexican dynamic? Because surely most people knew that Junior just wasn't that good, surely. There must have been another angle. So that's why I ended up here. Oscar's perceived snobbiness wasn't just identified in the Chavez Sr. fight. When he fought Rafael Ruelas, who came to America through immigration, it was a similar demographic there because he was a native of SoCal, Southern California, a homeboy. And the Mexicans in the crowd, most of the, I don't know how to put it. Do I want to say hardcore or proud Mexicans? They were pro-Ruelas. Rafael had a brother named Gabe who was pretty good too, and they were trained by Joe Goosen. When Oscar fought Fernando Vargas, in the build-up, Vargas reiterated the story where when he was making his ascension through the pro ranks, he either asked De La Hoya for a favor or to recognize him or something like that, and De La Hoya snubbed him. But I think he amped that up a little to get the homeboy support, because he alluded to the fact that he keeps it real with the Mexican homeboys and De La Hoya doesn't in the build-up. So I think he used that to get the grassroots support behind him. Oscar always stood his ground though, and it seems like the more they pushed him, the harder he fought. He destroyed Vargas, destroyed Chavez a couple of times. Ruelas was destroyed as well. So he did stand his ground. You got to give him credit on that. Add your comments, shoot me down. I like to know some stuff that I didn't know rather than just some generic bullshit. Knowledge me, educate me. Peace.